Christmas miracle. Billionaire discovers a heartwarming secret about a black girl rummaging in H. Jack Thompson had it all: a sprawling mansion, fancy cars, and a bank account that inspired envy. But as Christmas approached, a profound emptiness gnawed at him. He was rich, yet felt impoverished in spirit. With the memories of his bustling childhood neighborhood whispering to him, Jack decided to return home, seeking something he couldn't quite name. The urban streets wrapped around him like an old, familiar blanket as he wandered, memories flooding his mind like the sound of distant laughter. Twinkling lights hung from the lampposts, and the aroma of cinnamon mixed with winter air, igniting long-lost feelings of joy. But something was still amiss. Despite the festive decorations, a weight in his heart remained. That is when he spotted her, a little girl with sun-kissed skin and a hoodie too big for her frame, rummaging through a dumpster behind a local bakery. Jack's chest tightened. Rather than turning away in judgment, he felt compelled to lean closer, to witness this moment unfolding before him. Inside, he felt a flutter of recognition. This was him once, fighting for scraps and dreaming big. "Hey there," he said, his voice warm, filled with curiosity. The girl looked up, eyes wide with surprise. "My name is Maya," she replied, a bright smile breaking across her face, instantly melting away his unease. As they talked, Jack learned that Maya's family had fallen on hard times after her war veteran father was injured. Her spirit, however, was unbreakable, cradling hope inside her small body. It shook Jack to his core. She reminded him of his own childhood dreams, a time when success wasn't measured by the weight of dollars, but by happiness. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With each passing day, Jack found himself drawn deeper into Maya's world. Her laughter bubbled over like the hot cocoa she adored, pure and untainted. There was a challenge brewing in the air, though. Jack knew he was standing at a crossroads. His affluent lifestyle came with expectations, pressure to maintain his status and be the ideal son, yet here was an opportunity to uplift someone in need. As the days clicked by, the stark contrast between their worlds felt sharper. Society's judgment hung heavy over them, a whispering crowd of skepticism that weighed on Jack's heart. Faced with adversity, he began to feel the tension of wanting to help without drawing ire. Could a billionaire really create meaningful change, or would he just be seen as another rich guy playing savior? Christmas Eve rolled in, and with it the promise of community celebration, a time when warmth and love radiated despite the cold. As his nerves danced uncomfortably inside him, Jack knew he could walk away, retreating to his comfortable life, or he could leap into the unknown and embrace something greater than wealth. The scent of pine and sugar filled the night air as he wrestled with his thoughts. What gift could he offer that transcended money and social status? Each passing second only deepened his uncertainty, leaving the question lingering in the winter air. Could Jack Thompson find a way to break free from his gilded cage? Or was this the moment that would shatter all illusions and lead him toward true transformation? Jack stood at the crossroads of his life, the air around him alive with the sounds of laughter and music pouring from the nearby community center. Families gathered there, their warm holiday spirit almost palpable. He felt that vibrant energy pulsing through the chilly evening, yet the longing in his heart dampened the joy. Maya's laughter echoed in his ears as he recalled their conversations, her dreams shimmering like twinkling lights against the growing darkness of poverty. The determination in her eyes haunted him. Could he genuinely make a difference in her life, or was he merely another passing figure in her story? Resolute yet vulnerable, Jack took a deep breath. I need to do something, he murmured to himself. It wasn't enough to be an observer. He needed to give not just money, but support, a connection that truly counted. As he turned his gaze toward the community center, he felt a spark of hope. Slowly, he strolled over, watching the happy faces of children playing, families connecting. They were doing something he had long forgotten how to embrace, coming together. As he pushed the door open, a familiar warmth wrapped around him like a cozy blanket, filling the cold spaces of his heart. Jack's eyes searched for Maya in the gathered crowd. There she was, her radiant smile glowing as she chatted with a little boy, sharing a hot chocolate that steamed in the cold air. Instantly, his heart swelled, the weight of his dilemmas beginning to lift. He could be part of this community, part of something larger than himself. "Maya?" he called, a genuine smile breaking across his face. She looked up, her expression a mix of surprise and pure joy as she rushed over. "Mr. Jack?" She beamed, her small hands clutching the warm cup tightly. "Are you here for the party?" "I am," he replied, kneeling to her level. "But I was hoping you could help me. I want to do something special for everyone here tonight." "What do you mean?" Her curious eyes sparkled in the dim light. "I want to give back," he said. "You've inspired me, Maya. I've been feeling lost, but you remind me of what really matters. Can we do something together?" Her gaze widened, disbelief coloring her features before morphing into excitement. "Like what?" "You could bring gifts or something." "Even better," Jack said, his imagination starting to flow. "What if we help provide a warm meal for everyone? Some clothes? I know a few generous people who might be willing to chip in." Maya's hands flew to her cheeks, excitement dancing in her eyes. "Really? That would be amazing. Everyone would love that." Jack felt the warmth of determination solidify in his heart. Maybe this wasn't just a holiday gesture, but the beginning of a new path, not just for him, but for Maya and others like her. "Let us go talk to the organizer. We can make this happen tonight." As they hurried across the room, he realized something profound. He was stepping into the very purpose he had yearned for. Yet, amidst the plotting and planning, a nagging doubt gnawed again. Even as he took this leap, he wondered, could he truly connect with this community? Would they accept him, or would they see him merely as the billionaire still standing behind the glass wall of wealth? As they approached the community organizer, Jack's heart raced. He could feel the looming question. Was he ready for this leap into their world? The organizer turned and smiled warmly, offering a firm handshake while Jack felt the weight of expectations pressing in. Would he be embraced, or would this attempt at solidarity shatter the fragile hopes he'd started to build with Maya? With the festive lights twinkling all around, Jack stood on the edge of change, the next steps forward embracing uncertainty. Would he break free from the glass wall, or be met with the harsh reality of skepticism? The moment of truth loomed just ahead. Jack took a deep breath, steadying himself before stepping forward to meet the community organizer. The man was older, with a kind face etched in lines of experience, and his eyes twinkled as he sensed Jack's anxiety. "Welcome. I'm Sam. What can I help you with tonight?" Jack felt a rush of relief wash over him at Sam's friendly demeanor. "I want to do something special for the families here. Maya and I thought maybe we could provide a warm meal and some clothing for those in need. What do you think?" Sam's smile widened, and Jack noticed the shared joy in the crowd behind him. "That sounds wonderful. We've been looking for ways to give back during the holidays, but resources are always tight. With your help, we could really make a difference." Maya jumped up and down, her excitement bubbling over. "We can get everybody together. We can do this." Jack couldn't help but mirror her enthusiasm. Her faith in him melted away some of his lingering doubts. "Absolutely. Let us rally some volunteers," Sam said, clapping his hands together. "We need people to help cook, serve, and distribute clothes." We can start right away." As they moved through the center, Jack felt the warm atmosphere drape over him like a comforting weight. He watched as families huddled together, voices mingled in joyful chaos, and laughter danced through the air. It was a world so different from his own, yet it felt strangely familiar, awakening feelings he thought long buried. Maya pulled him along, introducing him to families and friends with infectious enthusiasm. "This is Mr. Jack. He is going to help us." Each introduction ignited hope in the roles he could play. Jack engaged with parents, shared stories, and laughed at the antics of the children. It felt good, it felt right. However, in the back of his mind, a shadow of fear loomed. Despite the growing camaraderie, he worried about how he fit into this space. Was it enough to be a benefactor, or could he forge genuine relationships? He wanted to be more than a figment of wealth. He wanted to be a friend, a reliable figure they could depend on. As they organized food and clothes, Jack caught sight of a girl standing shyly at the edge of the room. Her gaze was locked on Maya and him, a look of curiosity mixed with apprehension. "Hey, you!" Maya called out, waving her over. The girl hesitated momentarily, then shuffled forward. "I'm Aaliyah," she introduced, her voice barely above a whisper. "What do you think of our party?" Jack asked warmly, crouching to meet her eyes. Aaliyah smiled shyly. "It's nice, but I didn't know if I could come. I don't have anything to share." Jack's heart ached with empathy. "You've already shared your smile, and that's worth more than anything you think you might bring," he replied gently. "Everyone here is welcome, with or without things." The girl's cheeks flushed, and she stood a bit taller. Jack realized this was what he had been hoping for, to see that spark of connection ignite. Here in this moment lay the possibility of transformation, for him and others. As the evening unfolded, laughter echoed off the walls, and food was served. Jack felt lighter, almost as if he were shedding the layers of insulation he'd built around himself from years of isolation. Serving alongside the families filled him with a purpose he hadn't felt in so long. But as he looked around, he caught a fleeting moment where Maya's gaze met Aaliyah's, both girls laughing and sharing a secret. Something about that moment hit Jack hard. What if the real work wasn't just giving, but understanding the stories that connected them all? He had taken a leap, yes, but where would it lead? Could he find a way past his own fears to truly belong? The night continued, but the question throbbed. Did he have the courage to dive deeper into this community and discover the real treasures they had to offer? With the cold air swirling outside and the warmth of newfound joy filling the community center, Jack felt he was on the cusp of an adventure much greater than he had ever imagined. What awaited him in the shadows of this vibrant night? Jack felt a surge of energy as he engaged with the families, responding to their laughter and sharing stories with a newfound ease. The food was piping hot, meals served with love and a touch of holiday magic. He moved from table to table, the aroma of spices and baked goods wrapping around him like a comfort blanket. Throughout the room, a tapestry of connections began to weave itself. Aaliyah, who had initially seemed so shy and hesitant, suddenly came alive with curiosity and laughter. She chatted with Maya, slipping past Jack's initial worry about the boundaries of their relationship. Their silliness soothed his uncertainties, and he took a tiny step back, absorbing the scene. But amidst the chaos, he couldn't shake the feeling that he needed more. The connection surrounded him, yet something deep hung in the air, a weight that beckoned him closer. What lay just beneath the surface? As he busily filled plates and poured glasses of juice, he listened to snippets of conversation about dreams, struggles, and resilience. Sam came up beside him, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm as he spoke. "You're doing great work tonight, Jack. People are really responding to your kindness. It's nice to see someone who genuinely cares." Jack took a moment before answering, searching for the right words. "Thanks, Sam. I want to do something meaningful, but I feel like just providing for them isn't enough. I want to hear their stories. I want to make a real connection. Sam nodded thoughtfully, his gaze shifting to the smiles and laughter that echoed around them. That's where the real help comes in. Supporting each other is more than just sharing resources. It's sharing experiences and understanding each other. Jack's heart quickened at the thought. What if he could truly connect? He decided, right then, that he wanted to know their stories, their hopes and dreams, the struggles they faced. He wanted to be more than just a donor in the shadows. He caught Aaliyah's eye as she jumped up to show Maya a drawing she had made, her dark hair bouncing with excitement. Jack watched as the girls giggled, and he felt the urge to join them. He approached, kneeling to their level. "What have you created?" he asked, genuine curiosity bubbling in his voice. Aaliyah shyly presented the drawing. It was bright with colors, depicting a warm, welcoming house with a big tree in front adorned with lights. "It's where I want to live one day," she said, her voice growing stronger. Jack marveled at her ambition. What makes it special? The love. There are families everywhere. Christmas lights, cooking, laughter. Aaliyah's eyes sparkled with each word. Jack felt an overwhelming wave of warmth swell in his chest. "That is beautiful. And what about your family?" he asked gently, hoping to delve deeper without pushing her boundaries. Aaliyah hesitated, her smile faltering for just a moment. "My mom, she works a lot. Sometimes it's tough. But I love her." Suddenly, a flicker of understanding transformed Jack's perception. Here was Aaliyah brave enough to dream despite her struggles, leading him toward an open door. He wanted to know not only Aaliyah's dreams, but the dreams of all the children and their families. The evening progressed, and his mind raced with ideas on how he could facilitate more than just a meal. Jack felt a rush of determination. What if they could create a regular gathering? A space where sharing stories and cooking together could be combined? As the celebration began to wind down and the last traces of food dwindled, Jack looked around at the faces filled with joy, nostalgia, and hope. He realized this was just the beginning. There was so much more he wanted to do. Would he have the courage to approach Sam with his ideas? Could he truly become part of these people's lives, not just their benefactor but a friend? All these questions hung in the air like unwrapping gifts waiting for joy to spill out. With the night's warmth still wrapped around him, Jack felt the pull of a deeper connection awaiting him. Curiosity ignited within him what stories would unfold if he only dared to ask. The clinking of dishes slowly faded, and the laughter that once filled the room began to settle into soft murmurs. Jack marveled at how quickly the vibrant mood transformed into something more intimate. It was the perfect time, and he felt it in his bones. No more hesitation. He needed to take the leap. "Hey Sam, can I talk to you for a minute?" Jack called out, catching his friend mid-laugh. Sam turned, his eyebrows lifting in curiosity as he walked over, a plate of untouched dessert in hand. "Sure thing. What's on your mind?" Jack glanced around the room, noting people gathering their belongings, some helping to clear tables, others swaying gently to the fading music. It was now or never. "I was thinking, what if we organized something bigger? A regular gathering, like a community night? We could do meals, art, games, anything to bring everyone together." Sam's eyes widened, and he set the plate down as he leaned in, intrigued. "I love that idea. It's perfect for building connections and getting to know everyone better." With each word Sam spoke, Jack felt the floodgates open. "But more than just fun, I want us to create a space where people can talk, share their stories and dreams, not just feast in silence. A place to uplift one another." Sam nodded fervently, excitement dancing in his eyes. "It's what we need. People here have so much to offer, and it would be beautiful to see those dreams blossom. We could call it story nights or something." "Exactly. And we could even tie it in with some kind of food theme, Jack said, his heart racing now. Our way of connecting over shared meals, it's universal. Jack, you have a gift. You're seeing people for who they are. This could change everything, Sam exclaimed, and Jack couldn't help but smile at the enthusiasm radiating from him. The buzz of possibility electrified the air. They started brainstorming, tossing out ideas for themes, activities, and potential dates. Every suggestion seemed to lead to another, and Jack could practically feel the warmth of the community wrapping around him like a hug. Meanwhile, Aaliyah was busy cleaning up her drawing, tucking it carefully under her arm. Jack caught her eye from across the room and waved her over. She approached, her small steps filled with determination. "Hey there, Aaliyah. Your drawing is amazing. I was just talking to Sam about creating a special night where everyone can share their stories. Would you like to help me think of ideas?" Her face lit up like the Christmas lights she had once described. "Can I show you some more drawings? I have lots of them, and they all tell stories." "Yes, absolutely." Jack felt a rush of excitement. It was more than he had hoped for, an eagerness from Aaliyah to share her vision with him. As they gathered around a small table, Jack watched her pull out one colorful sheet after another. Each piece revealed snippets of her dreams, her hopes, the things that made her heart race. Aaliyah spoke as she pointed at each drawing, her voice a melody of youthful enthusiasm. Jack realized that he needed to preserve these moments, not just for Aaliyah, but for all the children and families he wanted to connect with. Their voices deserved to be heard, but the weight of uncertainty lingered. What if they didn't want to share? What if his plans crumbled? The tiny insecurities he fought against began surfacing again. He didn't know all the answers or how to guide them, yet he could feel the threads of something meaningful pulling tighter around him. "Jack?" Aaliyah interrupted his thoughts, her gaze steady. "Are you going to keep coming back? I want to draw more and share all my stories." "You'll really come back, right?" He felt a lump form in his throat. "Aaliyah, I promise I'll be back. I want to be part of your story." Just then, he spotted Sam exchanging glances with a few families nearby, their interest piqued by the enthusiasm radiating from him and Aaliyah. It was a beautiful sight, one full of potential. As the night drew to a close, Jack stood with Aaliyah and Sam, their connection strengthened. But as he gazed around at the families departing, he felt a question linger in the air. Would the stories they uncovered together be strong enough to bridge their worlds? With every heartbeat, the urgency to find out intensified. What would happen when they opened up? What secrets, joys, and transformations awaited them? The following week seemed to stretch on forever. Jack found himself counting the days until he could return to the community center. The thought of hearing more stories made the hours drag in a delicious mix of anticipation and anxiety. As he drove, he visualized the gathering in his mind. The camaraderie of shared laughter, the clinking of plates, and, most importantly, the stories waiting to be told. Jack parked his car and stepped into the warm, inviting space. The familiar hum of conversation greeted him like an old friend. He scanned the room, watching families mingle and children run about, energy pulsing like electric currents. But it was Aaliyah who caught his eye first, her bright smile cutting through the crowd like sunshine. She rushed over, clutching a new stack of drawings. "Jack, look! I made more stories," she explained, her cheeks flushed with excitement. He knelt to her level, and she eagerly displayed the colorful illustrations. Each drawing unfolded a new tale, a new piece of her world. One picture depicted a girl soaring high above the clouds, surrounded by stars, while another showed a garden blooming under the radiant sun. "They're so beautiful, Aaliyah. You've captured so much joy in these," Jack praised, overwhelmed by her creativity. "Do you think everyone will love them?" she asked, her voice tinged with a flicker of doubt. "Absolutely," Jack reassured her. placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We're all here to cheer each other on. That's what story nights is about." As they continued their conversation, the room began to fill with small clusters of families gathering, drawn towards the excitement brewing at their table. Jack felt a rush of energy as he realized that the evening was finally taking shape. "All right, everyone, listen up." Sam's voice rose above the murmurs, creating a wave of quiet anticipation. "We're starting our first official story night tonight. Who's excited?" The crowd erupted in cheers, and Jack's heart swelled with pride. This was the moment they had envisioned together, a bridge between dreams and reality. To kick things off, Jack suggested they start with a simple activity, a round of introductions. Each person would share their name and one thing they loved. As names filled the air, so did laughter and connections. The simple act of sharing began to weave a tapestry of unity. One father, standing a bit shyly at the moment, mentioned his love for cooking. That sparked an impromptu discussion about favorite dishes. Aaliyah chimed in with a gleeful shout that she loved drawing food. More laughter erupted, creating a light-hearted atmosphere. But then, a young girl spoke up, hesitating before sharing. Jack noticed the tremor in her voice, a flicker of vulnerability. I like writing stories, but no one ever reads them." A deep silence followed, leaving an echo of unspoken fears. Jack's heart sank. He recognized that familiar feeling, the fear of not being good enough, of exposing pieces of oneself and feeling dismissed. He knew they needed to confront this together. He stepped forward, heart pounding. "You know, when I was younger, I felt the same way. My stories always seemed too silly, too small. But then I found the courage to share them. And guess what? People love them. Everyone has a story worth telling." His gaze swept across the room, meeting eyes filled with hope and curiosity. "We're all here to uplift each other, to celebrate our voices," he added. The flicker in the girl's eyes grew into a flame of determination. "Really? You think my stories matter?" Jack nodded firmly. "Yes. Every story matters. We want to hear them." The ripple effect was immediate. People began to open up, sharing their own fears and passions. The room buzzed with newfound connection and strength. As the atmosphere transformed, Jack felt an indescribable warmth spread through him. Each story shared was a brick, building the bridge of understanding. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper awaited. Just as he felt they were only scratching the surface, a loud crash echoed from the back of the room. All eyes turned, the laughter fading into palpable tension. What had just happened? Would the bridge they were just beginning to build be shaken apart? The sound of the crash echoed like a clap of thunder, cutting through the cheerful atmosphere that had just taken flight. Jack's heart raced as he turned to see what had happened. A table tipped over, sending cups and plates scattering across the floor. A few startled faces looked over, their conversations frozen. Aaliyah's bright smile dimmed in an instant, her eyes wide with concern. "Jack, are they okay?" she asked, gripping her drawings tightly. "I'm not sure," Jack replied, his own heart pounding. He moved toward the scene, weaving through the clusters of people who were whispering in anxious murmurs. As he approached, he saw a young boy, maybe 10 years old, nervously trying to set the table back upright. "Hey there," Jack said gently to the boy, kneeling beside him. "Need a hand?" The boy looked up, his eyes a mixture of embarrassment and fear. "I didn't mean to knock it over. I wanted to see the pictures on the table." Jack smiled to reassure him. "I understand. Sometimes things just happen." Together, they righted the table, and Jack glanced around for Aaliyah, who seemed to relax a bit now that the immediate trouble was over. "Thanks," the boy mumbled, moving to pick up one of the cups that had rolled away. Jack noticed the other families watching, some with smiles, Others still uncertain. One man broke the tension with a laugh. Just makes for a more memorable story night. Laughter rippled through the crowd, releasing the pressure in the room. All right, who is ready to hear some stories? Sam called out, clearly unperturbed by the disruption. The encouragement in his voice pierced through the thick air, gradually restoring excitement. Jack stood up, glancing back at the boy. You should share your story, too, he urged lightly. You're part of this, after all. The boy shook his head. I don't have anything special to say. Every story is special in its own way, Jack replied, remembering the girl from earlier who had felt unheard. Why don't you start us off? We'd love to listen. A moment of silence passed, and the boy's shoulders relaxed a little. Okay, I guess I could try. There was a small wave of clapping from the audience, an instant boost of encouragement for him. Jack felt a surge of hope. Perhaps the boy was beginning to grasp that this room was a safe haven, a place for every voice to be valued. As the boy shared a story about his favorite day at the park, Jack found himself lost in the warmth of the moment. The laughter, the sharing, it all felt electric. Then, unexpectedly, the young girl who had first hesitated took a deep breath and stood up, raising her hand shyly. I want to share mine too, she said, her voice steadying as she spoke. The crowd leaned in, the previous nervousness fading away, replaced with palpable curiosity. Jack beamed with pride. That's the spirit. We're all ears. As the girl began to speak, painting her world with words, he felt the threads of connection tightening around them all. It wasn't just about stories anymore. It was about discovery, bravery, and healing. But as the evening moved forward, the vibrant connections created began to shift. Aaliyah's drawings, the boy's shaky start, and the young girl's breakthrough created a magical blend of emotions in the room. Jack felt happiness swell in him, yet shadows lingered in the corners. Just then, another loud noise pulled him from his thoughts this time. It sounded almost like a voice. A gasp spread among the crowd, but instead of fear, it was laced with excitement. Jack turned towards the source, his heart racing again. Was something else about to unfold? He held his breath, hoping that the unexpected could mean another story waiting to emerge. Would this be the pivotal moment, the Christmas miracle of the night? He couldn't help but wonder just how deep this night would dive, and what surprises were in store. Jack squinted toward the noise, a wave of anticipation coursing through him. The crowd shifted, curiosity bubbling up like a fountain. He caught a glimpse of something movement near the corner, just behind the tall stack of books that had been precariously placed there for adults to peruse. Look over there, someone whispered, pointing. Jack followed the direction, heart pounding in time with the energy that suffused the room. Aaliyah stood at the edge, eyes wide as she spotted the source of the commotion. What is happening? She whispered to Jack, her hand still holding tightly onto her drawings. I think someone is trying to say something, he replied, captivated. The whispers grew louder, and Jack hovered on the edge of the crowd, itching to step closer. Suddenly, a figure emerged from behind the books, a girl, perhaps around 8 years old, with wild curls and a smile that seemed to light up the dim room. She wore mismatched clothes, bright patterns clashing together, but there was something about her that drew everyone in. Hi, everyone, she chirped, her voice ringing out like a bell. I'm Bella. Can I share my story? The room collectively held its breath. There was something infectious about her enthusiasm. In that moment, it felt as if all the tensions from earlier were swept away. Jack exchanged a glance with Aaliyah, who was bouncing on her toes, excitement sparkling in her eyes. Of course, Bella, Sam encouraged, motioning her forward. We'd love to hear your story. Bella stepped into the light, her confidence shining bright. Okay, so one time, my friend and I found a kitten in our backyard. She was super tiny and scared. We named her Machi. She giggled at the name, and the laughter of the crowd made it clear they were already enchanted. I told Mara, we have to save her. So, we made a little box and put pillows inside. Then we got milk and fed her. It was amazing. But Bella paused, her smile faltering for just a second. She kept running away from us. One night, I dreamed that she was telling me, I'm part of your heart, Bella. Jack felt warmth spreading through him. It was a tender image. The crowd leaned in closer, drawn by the raw sincerity of her words. And the next day, she came back. I knew she wanted to be with us. Bella's eyes sparkled. Now she is my best friend. But sometimes I wonder who saved who. That last line hit Jack like an arrow. It wasn't just a story about a girl and a kitten. It resonated with deeper questions about love, connection, and what it means to hold someone or something close to your heart. Jack glanced at Aaliyah, who was practically glowing with inspiration. Wow, someone murmured from the back, that is beautiful. Bella bowed her head slightly, soaking in the affirmation, her cheeks glowing. She may have been shy at the start, but here she was, hands animated, voice strong, and her story was a gift they all could share. I love that, Sam added, beaming at the girl. Thank you for reminding us how important it is to listen to our hearts. His words rolled through the room, each listener reflecting on their own connections as the warmth of compassion encircled them. Jack felt it again, the slow, steady hum of hope. Maybe Bella's story had opened a window to something larger than just a night of tales. Maybe it crackled with possibilities of understanding each other more deeply. But before the applause could fully settle, a familiar yet haunting laugh broke the moment. Jack immediately recognized it. He turned and saw a figure from his past standing at the entrance, his presence casting a shadow over everything. Didn't anyone tell you that stories can bite back? The stranger called out, and the light-hearted atmosphere shrank to a whisper as eyes flicked nervously between him and Bella. Jack's heart sank. Who was this person, and what did he want? More importantly, how would he defend the magic they had just built? The air shifted, thickening like fog. Would this night's treasure survive the threat looming on the horizon? Jack's heart raced as he faced the stranger. The noise of the crowded room faded, replaced by the drumming of his heartbeat in his ears. A palpable tension settled among the onlookers, their faces shifting from joy to uncertainty. Aaliyah's grip tightened on her drawings, and Jack could see the confusion etched on her face. "Who are you?" he finally managed to ask, his voice steady despite the chaos brewing inside him. The stranger's smirk deepened. "Just an old friend. A reminder, really. Stories have a way of unearthing what you'd rather stay buried." Bella stared wide-eyed at the newcomer. "Do you want to hear my story?" she asked, her innocence shining through. Her hand still raised, a slight tremble betraying her courage. "Your story?" The man chuckled, leaning back, arms crossed. "Oh, sweetheart, stories can sometimes reveal more than just furry friends and friendship." His gaze swept over the crowd, pausing at Jack, piercing deep. Sam stepped forward, protective. "You're ruining this moment. Bella just shared something beautiful." "Beautiful, yes. But every story has its shadows." The man's voice dipped low, menacing. "You have to be careful who you let into your heart." Jack felt his chest tighten. This wasn't just about Bella, it was about something deeper, something they were all grappling with. "You can't come here and disrupt our time," he said firmly. "We were all feeling something special before you showed up." "Were you?" The stranger raised an eyebrow, challenging. "Or were you all just going along with the feel-good vibe? Afraid to face the truth?" Aaliyah finally piped up, voice determined. "Maybe you're the one who is afraid. Afraid of seeing how much a story can really mean to someone." The man regarded her with surprise, and for a moment he looked less like a threat and more like a man who had forgotten the magic of connection. But then, that shadow returned to his eyes. "You think feelings are enough to protect you in the real world?" You have no idea how stories can twist in the dark. Jack took a step forward, unwilling to let this intruder add despair to their gathering. We've heard enough. Bella's story is about hope, and that matters. You can't take that away from us. A faint memory stirred in Jack's mind. How many times had he shielded stories from reality? How often did the darkness loom over something beautiful? He wanted to believe that the light they had created tonight could withstand the shadow. Is that what you believe? The stranger sneered, taking a step closer, and Jack could practically feel the crowd sink under the weight of uncertainty. Then let us see what happens when the kitten you raised decides to run away, or when love isn't enough to keep a family whole. Bella's smile wavered, and Jack felt his stomach churn. Was he right? Could the stories they cherish really shatter? In that moment, a flicker of doubt grazed Jack's heart, sending tremors of fear through him. Just then, the flickering lights overhead dimmed, and an unexpected shiver rippled through the crowd. The atmosphere grew electric, weighed down by secrets longing to emerge. What if? Jack whispered to Aaliyah as he turned back to the man. What if you're the one who needs to hear our stories? He didn't know if it would work, but something within him ignited a flame of possibility. If he could show this man that love, understanding, and connection could prevail amidst the shadows, they might just reclaim the magic of the night. The stranger hesitated, eyes narrowing. You think you can change a heart so easily? It takes a lot more than fairy tales and kittens to do that. Belle's voice rang out again, fragile yet fierce. You should try listening to our stories. You might find something you didn't know you lost. Jack held his breath, waiting. Would he listen? Would he acknowledge the potential for healing? As a heavy silence cloaked the room, Jack could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on all of them. The energy shifted, and he sensed that the fate of their evening and perhaps something more significant hung in the balance. What if tonight's stories could heal the wounds even this dark figure bore? It was a risk, but perhaps that was the heart of every tale worth telling. Would the stranger let them in, or would he retreat further into the shadows? The question lingered in the air, thick with possibility and fear. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Jack stood firmly, heart racing, as he faced the stranger who had momentarily derailed their beautiful night. The air crackled with uncertainty, but Jack felt a flicker of hope in the shared gaze of Aaliyah and Bella. They were young, brave, and innocent enough to believe that love and stories could conquer darkness. Stories are powerful, Jack asserted, lifting his chin confidently. They're not just words, they come from our hearts. They connect us. The crowd behind him began to murmur in agreement, their eyes shifting from fear to curiosity, as if channeling the courage to support him. The stranger smirked, yet there was a weariness beneath his bravado. You really think that's enough? Life isn't just rainbows and sunshine, he scoffed. But there was a flicker of something behind his eyes, a longing. Jack took a deep breath, his voice softer now, but still resolute. Maybe all of us have pieces of our lives that are hard to share. But that's where the beauty lies. Each story holds a treasure that can help heal, and maybe even change someone's heart. Aaliyah stepped forward, trembling but determined. You should hear my stories. They're filled with hope and dreams. Her gaze anchored on him, earnestness pouring from her tiny frame. Jack could feel the tide shifting the crowd as tension released just a fraction, and eyes began to glisten with understanding. The stranger looked uncertain, glancing at the children as hopeful faces. And what can your little stories do? He asked. They can remind you that you're not alone, Aaliyah replied, her voice firmer now. That even when things are hard, we're together. The room began to breathe in that moment of sharing. The divide between them started to shrink. Curious eyes encouraged the stranger to consider their bravery. Tell one of your stories, Bella urged, her voice small yet fierce in its sincerity. Maybe you've got a story too. He hesitated, jaw tightening. Jack's heart ached. Could he break through this man's hardened exterior? "We're not here to cast away your pain," Jack said. "We're simply asking you to let us in." A shift happened then. The darkness radiating from the stranger began to wane just a shade. He shifted on his feet, uncertainty flashing across his face. The crowd leaned in closer, eager for a sign of vulnerability. "Fine," he grumbled, but the fire in his eyes flickered with doubt. "What do you want to hear?" Jack smiled gently. "We just want to share, like you said earlier. It's the stories that matter." "What kept you searching for the shadows?" A moment lingered, heavy with potential. The man looked away, struggling with memories long buried. "It's not pretty," he finally whispered. Jack nodded. "That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just real, like all of us." Taking a deep breath, the stranger began to reveal himself, his voice hesitant and raw. "I once had a little sister who loved stories more than anything. She believed in magic." The air shifted sweetly as he continued, tears glistening in his eyes. "But one day she got sick." The room was silent. Each word pulled at the hearts around him. In that moment, empathy bridged the gap between the stranger and the crowd, a shared experience of pain, loss, and hope. Choking back tears, the man shared his journey, how after his sister was gone, he lost faith in everything, building walls to protect himself from more hurt. Jack felt the connection deepening, understanding how stories had once been a source of magic and pain for him too. "You can always choose to let love back in," Jack encouraged him. "We can't erase the past, but we can build a future together." A hush fell over them all before Bella finally spoke up, her voice steady. "You can still keep your sister's spirit alive through your stories. Let us help you remember." Tears streamed down the man's cheeks, and for the first time, he truly opened up. "I've wanted to forget, but maybe it's time to remember." As he began to share, the warmth of compassion filled the room, slowly transforming the tension into a beautiful moment of healing. The community rallied around him, drawing strength from their shared vulnerabilities. Laughter, tears, and stories intermingled, weaving a powerful tapestry of connection. Lights shone a bit brighter, laughter rang out more freely, and the shadows of the past began to recede into the distance as walls crumbled and hearts opened wide. Jack beamed with hope, joy swelling in him. This was a Christmas miracle, a community rising together, stronger than before, ready to embrace the journey of connection and healing born from each shared story. In that embrace, Jack had finally broken free from his gilded cage. He had found himself in the joy of these connections, and in becoming a beacon of hope for others. "Let us continue to share and heal," he suggested, wrapping his arm around Aaliyah and Bella, their faces shining with pride. Together. The crowd erupted in applause, the air swirling with magic, laughter, and love, a reminder that despite life as shadows, the light of hope could always find a way through. Jack knew beyond a doubt that this was only the beginning of a beautiful chapter, one where stories would never be hidden in the dark again. If this powerful transformation inspired you, then you need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to share this story with your friends and family. This is the moment to show your support. Like the video to feed the algorithm, so we can bring more heartwarming stories like this. And comment below your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. Let us spread the magic of connection.